Jerry was a clever and brave 12-year-old boy who found himself in a difficult situation. He had been living in France with his family for a few years, but things had taken a sudden turn. His parents had told him that they had to leave France as quickly as possible. They didn't explain everything, but Jerry could sense the urgency in their voices. They had to escape, and Jerry knew he had to be strong. It was the middle of the night when they packed their things. The streets of Paris were quiet, and the only sounds were the occasional distant cars and the wind rustling through the trees. Jerry, carrying a small backpack, followed his parents closely. They were heading to the train station, where they hoped to catch a train that would take them across the border. As they approached the station, Jerry noticed how tense his parents were. His mother kept looking over her shoulder, while his father hurried them along. They reached the station and found the platform where their train was set to depart. But just as they arrived, they saw police officers patrolling the area. Jerry's heart began to race. "We have to stay calm," his father whispered. "Just act normal." Jerry tried to act like any other traveler, but his mind was racing. They boarded the train and found their seats. The train ride felt like an eternity. Every time the train slowed down at a station, Jerry feared it might be the end of their journey. He kept imagining the police walking down the aisle, asking for papers. Hours passed, and the tension in the air remained thick. Finally, they approached the border. This was the most dangerous part. The train would stop, and guards would board to check passengers. As the train slowed, Jerry could see the guards waiting on the platform. When the guards entered the carriage, Jerry held his breath. One by one, they checked the passengers. When they reached Jerry's family, his father handed over their papers with a calmness that surprised Jerry. The guard looked at the papers, then at Jerry and his parents, and after what felt like an eternity, handed them back and moved on. Jerry felt his heart beat faster as the train started moving again. They had made it past the border. Relief washed over him. Soon, the train would reach the next country, and they would be safe. After hours of traveling, the train finally stopped in a small town far from the border. Jerry and his family stepped off the train into the cold night air. They were no longer in France, and for the first time in days, Jerry felt like he could breathe freely again. Looking up at the sky filled with stars, Jerry realized how much he had grown in just a short time. The journey had been frightening, but he had stayed brave. As they walked away from the station, Jerry knew that wherever they were headed next, they would face it together as a family.